Alright, my name is Haley Pringle, and I'm going to be talking about Chinese Buddhism and Roman Christianity. I'm going to be talking about the similarities and the differences between those two. And the questions that I'm going to be using to compare those are just listed right here. They mainly focus on how the religion came into the society, how people reacted to it, and how the religion influenced the society and the people. So, my first question is, how was the religion brought to the society? With Buddhism, it was mainly the traders and the missionaries that were traveling along the Silk Road. They played a huge role in bringing Buddhism from India into China. It was mainly the Chinese monks that encountered the Buddhists from India, and so they were really the ones to help spread it and bring it into China. And this image that I have right here is just a representation of travelers along the Silk Road. With Christianity, it was really actually focused on St. Paul. He did a lot of work in bringing Christianity into Rome. He spent a lot of his life going around teaching the Word of God and building churches and just trying to actually convert a lot of people. So his work was really, really crucial in converting the people of Rome. And right here, I do just have an image of him. And so my next question is going to be, what time period did this take place? With Buddhism, it came into China mainly around the 1st and 2nd centuries AD, and during this time period, the Han Dynasty was in place. And Christianity came into Rome about the same time period, just the few first centuries of AD. And it wasn't really, though, until Emperor Constantine adopted Christianity in the 300s that it really grew in Rome. And now I want to talk about how the people reacted to the new religion. Well, in China, there was both acceptance and opposition to Buddhism. A lot of people embraced the new religion, and then there were obviously, some people that wanted to stay with what they knew. They were, had their Confucian beliefs and Taoism, so they really wanted to stick to what they already had. And it was actually, though, during the Han Dynasty's collapse in 220, there was a lot of turmoil, there was a lot of chaos, and a lot more people actually turned to Buddhism to find understanding in it all, and that's when a lot of people began to convert. With Christianity, it was really hard for the Christians during the very beginning years. The emperor at the time just they ordered a lot of like deaths and torture of Christians, so they were really heavily persecuted. And it wasn't until 312, whenever Emperor Constantine, he converted, and it was because he had this dream or this vision that led him to believe that if he fought for God in God's name, that he would win this battle. And his troops did end up winning, so he did convert, and he gave freedom to Christians to practice their religion. And so that's when a lot more people began to follow that religion. And now I want to talk about the classes that were mainly involved in each religion. Well, with Buddhism, it was actually a lot of the higher classes that were involved in it and converted quickly to it. The intellectuals, the elites, and the gentry class, they were all highly interested in it, and they were the first ones to convert. And it was actually quite opposite with Christianity in Rome. It was mainly slaves, the soldiers, and the poor people. Most of the elites didn't convert until a lot later on. And my next question is, what were the opposing sides? Well, with Buddhism in China, like I had said before, most people were either Confucian, they had those principles and beliefs, or they followed the Taoist religion. And with Christianity, most of the Romans were actually, they had their polytheistic views. They believed in gods and goddesses. They had a really hard time believing that there was just one all powerful God. And so that's what they're facing. And the images that I have here are just the different symbols of those religions that they came into contact with. And so now I want to ask, how did the religion affect the society? Buddhism actually did a lot of good for the Chinese people. It really united them, especially during all the chaos that was happening during the collapse of the Han Dynasty. And even today, it's had a lasting influence on art and architecture and the way that people live their lives. And even today, there's just so many Buddhist people living in China and all around the world. And the images I have right here, one of them is just a sculpture that's really beautifully done. And then the other is two buildings that are in China. And each of these things, they're based off Buddhist either figures or Buddhist architecture that had been previously done in the past. So that's the way that has still affected today in the future. And then with Christianity, the way that Christianity affected the Roman society, it also really united the Roman people, especially the military. Obviously, they were able to have a lot of successful conquest. We all know that. And over the years, a lot more people began to convert to Christianity because of this, and then it soon became, like the official religion of Rome. So many people had converted to it. But then also there's, also the huge debate. Some people say that Christianity played a really crucial role in the fall of Rome. And then actually, what I have here for this image is a Roman shield. And this was a big thing that Constantine was doing whenever he had his vision. He had all of his troops adorn their shields somehow with a Christian sign, basically almost a cross, because that's what he thought would protect them and help them to win the battles. And also, I want to talk about how the society affected the religion. And so, China affected Buddhism. For one, just because it was a huge step for it. It helped them gain a lot of followers, and it helped it to spread not only across China but also westward into other areas as well. And then also within China, different schools and sects of Buddhism were developed, and so that's one of the ways that it affected the religion. And with Christianity, the experiences that they had in Rome, it really brought a lot of Christians together just because of the persecutions that they had to go through. It was a hard time for them, and so it's a really important part in Christian history. And obviously, after Constantine made it legal to practice Christianity, a lot more people began to follow the religion and convert, so it was also able to spread the religion more. So, in conclusion, there's obviously some similarities and some differences between the two religions in the two different societies. The similarities are that both religions faced opposition when they came into the new societies. Both religions were able to be more widely spread because of their interactions with these societies. And both of the religions moved into these societies during the same time period. And then we also see the differences, like that Buddhism really actually helped unify China, whereas Christianity, originally unified them, but it's also said to be their downfall. And then also another difference is that the Christians in Rome faced much more persecution than the Buddhists did in China. And then my last difference that I have listed right here is that Buddhism was actually able to blend with the other practices and religions that were in China, whereas Christianity just kind of completely threw out the other beliefs and the other practices that the Romans had in place before them.